FlintTalkRadio.com.
Keep spinning around in my head. Little girl, could you give me high? Your sexy ways, I see you been around. You don't know how we'll teach you, baby. Ultra sexy. Funky groove, the colors in my hair. Swirl your hips around, baby, you knock me dead. Get your sexy thing, you turn me on.
Yeah, we're sitting here listening to the Bud Slawter Band, and that was a song called Ultra Sexy.
That was the title track off the last CD that we did, Ultra Sexy.
And I have in the house here Bud Slawter himself.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, for having me in here today.
Yeah, and it's like
Appreciate it.
That does kind of like have a real kind of a funky sound to it, kind of like reminiscent of like Jimi Hendrix. So that's
Yeah, almost. That song's almost like a James Brown song right there. That's what I've always people have said it reminded them of.
There's like a lot of like
old-time R&B.
Got a good hook to it.
Yeah.
Very good hook. Now you've been
Done well for us.
Yeah, so now how long has that CD been out?
04.
04?
Yep.
It's got a pretty good following with it probably. So it's good music.
Sold quite a few of those.
Yeah, and
on our own.
So you're from the Flint or environments?
Well, I live in Lapeer, but it seems like our band mainly plays out of Flint.
Man, it's a pretty good video bars around here and clubs.
Yeah, bars, clubs.
You play pretty much anything though, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All different kinds of stuff. Mainly like to stick to outdoor type stuff during the summertime.
Yeah. Oh, that who wouldn't?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
the
great.
bars seem like they're a little bit dead during the
of course,
July, August.
Of course, there's kind of peril there. I mean, you got bad weather and stuff like that, but
I've been pretty lucky. I've ran into a few bad storms before for live shows, but other than that, done pretty well.
Yeah, it looks
Never
like
been shut down yet.
Looks like you've got some tests on there, so you've been out there playing for recently.
Yeah.
Or?
Well, actually got some shows coming up. The 16th of August, we'll be playing at the Battle of the Sands at Jammin's Lounge. Okay. We'll be doing that show for Dead Grounds Productions. And the week following after that, we're going to be playing at the Creme outdoors.
That's a big venue.
Along the somewhere along the track there where the runners are. I'm not exactly positive where. I'm still getting more details on that show, but it'll be during the daytime.
That's a big venue because I mean that's like thousands of visitors in the area.
That's what they say.
No, I hope so. Now, you ever played the Creme before? Or
Nope.
This first time?
Yep, first time.
It's like they got a good following now. I mean, it's like it's gotten bigger. It's got a lot more diversified on what the events in the past 15, 20 years they've run it. It snarls up traffic, but I think it's worth the problems because it does give a lot of good notoriety to Flint, you know.
Well, it sounds pretty fun. It's a little bit different than our normal gigs. We have to be out there real early in the morning because they shut down the street.
Right.
I mean, we're used to playing really late at night, but
night owls.
Yeah, but should be fine.
It's like it's part of the rock and roll lifestyle. Is basically staying up all night and sleeping most of the day.
Yeah. You don't get in bed early after any kind of show you're doing at a club or a bar or anything like that. I mean, yeah, it's a late night job.
Now it's like you've been a band together for how long now?
Well, the Bud Slawter Band came as a band, I guess I would say 1995.
Okay, and that's a long time for a lot of area bands don't stay together that long.
Well, it doesn't have the same members
right
all along. I mean, that's kind of how it became the Bud Slawter Band. We had a different band before that, and just changed members so often it really wasn't the same band.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you're familiar with the group called the Replacements. Their lineup kept on changing so much that's why they call themselves
Replacements.
Yeah.
So I figured the one thing constant about it, just Bud Slawter, so it became the Bud Slawter Band.
So it's like now, do you write the majority of the material?
Yeah. Yep. I think that's one of the most important things about being in a band or anything like that is definitely songwriting to me.
And it's like now, like, did you you probably like a lot of the musicians who come in, you probably would have a love for music from an early age.
Oh yeah, very young.
And who was your major influences?
Well, I would say that how I probably got a little bit of a head start is around the house. My mother really had a really good record collection and really liked great bands from the 60s and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I, got a little bit of an ear for music at an early age. But got to say, when I was a real little kid, my favorite band was the Monkees.
Okay.
I thought that was the greatest thing I ever seen in my life. Just all lived in that house, bunch of girls chasing them around, had a real cool car and all that. But then Kiss came out.
That changed the world.
Yeah, that pretty much changed everything from that point on. Say Kiss.
Right. Kiss is
favorite
great.
band?
Chris was really, when I was a younger person, I really didn't listen much to Kiss because I was kind of shocked by all the makeup. And once I got past that, I mean, they're very good musicians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
good
they're excellent.
Songwriters.
Yes, I mean, and they got longevity. I mean, they're still together.
Definitely longevity.
I don't know if they have one different member, I think, from the original lineup because they had big issue. One of them was dismissed a long time ago.
Well, I think right now they got a couple of fill-ins.
Yeah.
But still put on a great show. I seen them a few years ago at Comerica Park with Aerosmith.
Oh,
The
that's
last time I seen them, and that was really good.
that would have been a good lineup.
Ted Nugent, Kiss, and Aerosmith.
Oh, because those guys, all those people are friends with each other. I mean, I've heard Ted Nugent talk
I've
about
seen
that.
them together before on other occasions. You know, all the Aerosmith with Ted Nugent,
Yeah,
Ted Nugent with Kiss, all kinds of stuff.
No, it's like so you're like the lead vocalist as well as guitar player,
Yeah.
and you have 3 guys in the band total, right?
Yep.
And like you said, we're talking before the show started, and you said basically anybody can come up with an idea for a song, and if you think it works, you'll run
Well,
with it.
we've done that on many occasions. I've pretty much chief songwriter of the band, but I also co-write probably half the songs on the new album that we got coming up.
It's like, by the way, for anybody who's listening who was younger, the records are a thing that came out before CDs and DVDs.
Yeah.
And
Straighten that a CD, I guess we got coming out.
because it dawned on me, my niece is going to be 16 years old. I don't think she'll be 16 in September. I don't think she ever seen too many records other than what we deliberately showed her what an album looked like in a 45.
Well, I hate to be showing my age, but I still think of a compilation of songs like an album.
Right.
I still try to write album rock, something that would be somewhat cohesive as a piece that would some way go together,
Right.
other than just a compilation of a bunch of songs as a product that, I don't know, it seems like a lot of big companies push nowadays.
You should bring up a kind of interesting thing. I don't know if you're in the Flint area back when 105 used to be an AOR band, album-oriented rock. Do you remember that?
101.5?
105, WWCK.
I think so.
They play
Seems like a lot of FM was more album orientated back in the 70s.
Right.
Maybe some part of the 80s.
Yeah, that's when they made the transition, become like I don't see anything
Singles.
bad about it. It's not too good, but they used to play 2 or 3 songs off one album. It's not one side, and that was really cool because you got to hear more of the songs from the different artists.
Exactly.
But and I guess the guy, one of the guys who's still in the band, he's still out there. Damn, I can't remember the guy's name. Jeff Holbrook. He's with
Remember
another.
that name?
He's with another radio station yet. So he's an old timer. He's probably been in the rock and roll business, as a DJ side of it for probably 35 years already. Mm-hmm.
I remember that name for sure.
Yeah, he's it's like Flint used to be a big area for big draw from musicians. We used to have a lot of bands here.
I know that. Remember when I was a little kid, Flint hasn't always been in the shape than what it is. When I was a little kid, they had all kinds of good acts that came to Flint. In fact, the very first concert I ever seen, I was a real little kid, barely remember it. It was at that old IMA that you hear people talk about, that old one. It was Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker.
Yeah, I remember they went crazy in that place.
Now, who took you to that concert?
My mother and my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't you because let's face it, Chubby Checker. I don't know if
they went crazy in that. I just remember that definitely went crazy in there.
So your parents were in
Dancing
the
the
rock and
twist.
roll?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Both of your mom and your dad, or
mother mainly.
yeah. It's like my parents were like quite a bit older than but I learned to like rock, but my parents were into like more like classical music, big band stuff like that, jazz. But I mean, it took me like when I was at 14 when I started listening to rock. But there were some great bands then, though.
Well, right from day one. Like I said, my mom had a pretty good collection of great stuff by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Who, things like that.
Now I'll tell you what, do you want to get the people a chance to listen to something of your song?
Sure. Now this is off our last album, came out a few years back. This is a song called "Tattooed Soul."
Okay. Well, maybe momentarily we'll have it there for you. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That song. All I see is ultra sexy.
Oh shoot!
Snakeskin dancer, slave to the sleaze.
Shoot. So I forgot you were going off the website. Can we edit this piece out?
No, that's all right. But just like there's all rough minutes, and that's not that big of a deal.
Sorry about that. Well, then we'll do another song off our last album, off Ultra Sexy. This one's called Snakeskin Dancer.
What does it take to get through to you? Can I realize everything the world has laid down to you? Couldn't see inside yourself. Take a look inside, no. Looking for chances, what you gonna do? The devil's magic made a fool of you. You took for granted everyone that has been there for you. Couldn't lay your saddle down. Let it ride, no.
That was really great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was the first track off the album we did in '04 called Ultra Sexy. I really need to come in here and talk about is that we have a new album coming out in the fall. The reason why I wanted to play Tattooed Soul because it would kind of segue into the name of the next album is Tattooed Soul.
Okay.
Even though the song Tattooed Soul is on Ultra Sexy.
Okay.
Kind of confusing, but you've seen it done before.
Oh yeah, it's a couple bands have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple bands.
But yeah, we have a new album coming out in the fall called Tattooed Soul. It should have 10 tracks on it, original tracks. Really a great album. I've been recording it at my studio at home. 70% of the album is mixed down right now. Got a few more tracks, but like I said, we got a couple of gigs coming up here in the next couple of weeks. One at the Battle in the Sands and one at the Crim. And right after that, we're going to finish up the last 3 tracks and take it in to be mastered and manufactured and hopefully ready to be sold by in the fall.
Now, do you ever have an intention of like doing a live band, live shows and recording them live? Or
You know, that's funny you said that because the next album after this studio album right now, I'm talking about doing a live album. Maybe go back to some of our songs that, our band has progressed a long way since the first album or back when we first came out. And some of them songs that we did on the first album, we might updated them and do them a little bit different now. Mm-hmm. We want to go back and do some of the older songs, maybe some cover tunes, some jams, and do a live album on our next album.
see, I think that'd be a good idea. And it's like, I think sometimes this live bands, live albums can fall flat if the audio's not that great. But I mean, I've heard some excellent ones out there.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty good board recordings. And
Yeah.
I've had many opportunities to do it in the past, and I know some people that are pretty good at it. And that's going to be our next album for sure after this studio album.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, okay? If you had like all of a sudden something has landed in your lap, okay, you got a great recording contract, you're making that international tours and all that. Who would you like to be like, in the shows with? Who would you like to be like headlining or playing for opening for?
Who would I like to open up for? Well, Kiss, of course.
Yeah.
The Who.
Oh yeah.
The Rolling Stones.
Those name brands, those old,
Yeah,
those
the,
old
the
guys.
best of the best is
Yeah.
what I would like to open up for. Ted Nugent.
Yeah. Michigan's
That's-
own. Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever met him personally?
No, I never met
I've had
him.
a few friends that met him on occasion for different things, and they say he's just as outrageous in person.
Well, his personality's kind of outrageous and that, but I've always thought that he's kind of an underrated musician
Right. And it's like
because of his antics, and maybe some people take it the wrong way, but kind of cartoonish antics, but he's really underrated guitar player as far as I'm concerned.
He could still deliver, and he's like in his 50s.
I just seen him at his 6,000th show.
Wow, 6,000.
Yeah,
he's like the
fantastic.
Iron Man. He's like an Iron Man, isn't he?
Well, I've seen some really good shows this summer. I went to see Ted Nugent on the 4th of July. And the next week I went down to the riverfront and seen Mark Farner and Mitch Ryder.
Right here. Oh, you're down here in downtown Flint?
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit, okay.
And so I've had a pretty good dose of Michigan style rock and roll in the last month.
See, like the East Side actually was kind of a hangout spot for Grand Funk. There's a guy who's got a basement tape or a bootleg tape of Grand Funk playing in somebody's kitchen over here on Thom Street, which is only a few blocks away from where the studio is at. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see if I can get that guy to like let me have it for a while so I can record it somewhere and I'll put it on CD or burn it to CD or something, you know.
Well, I used to work at AC back when it was still going out, General Motors, and there was always somebody in there that grew up with Farner and Don Brewer and knew those guys and partied with them and seen them back at Sherwood Forest and opened up for them and all kinds of stuff in there. So yeah, they're definitely well known around this area.
My brother went to a few of those Sherwood Forest.
And that was long before my time.
Yeah, wow.
I'm just saying, I just heard the stories about all that kind of stuff.
I'll say I'm 45. My brother's 10 years older. That's my half brother, and he used to see a lot of shows out there. He saw Bob Seger out there. He's seen Nugent. He saw everybody out there. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had that kind of venue.
I know.
It's like okay. And another thing is too. You say you have a lot of you just from your sound. But I hear from your sound, you have a lot of, different influences in your music.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why it's really hard to narrow it down, and for me to try to tell you one style of music, it's going to throw you off because you're going to go see it and you're going to hear something totally different.
Yeah, and
it's really hard to explain. Even the promoters that promote us and all that have a hard time explaining it. They just have to say, just trust me. Just watch them live and take your opinion from there.
Now, do you do like a lot of what's your stage show like? You just want to tell people out there?
Kind of a wild, over-the-top stage show.
Real high energy?
Yep.
So it's like people who are like the old kind of stadium rock would probably be
exactly.
a lot of it. Huh?
I've always pictured myself playing in a stadium. Ended up that I played in a lot of bars, but when I was a little kid dreaming of being a rock star, yeah, you picture yourself playing in a big stadium.
You still have that dream to be like on the stage?
Oh,
yeah.
well, sure.
Of course, you keep it going. You still very
sure.
very much into it yet. Mm-hmm. And you've been into the music scene. How long was it? Or do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. No, we were like 13 and 14. We were writing and making up songs. And a friend of mine that lived up the street, his mother used to play in a band when we were little kids, like a type of like a band that would play at weddings and stuff like that. And they ended up having a bunch of old equipment and stuff like that laying around there after she was done doing it years later. That's kind of how we ended up doing it, plugging stuff in, making a PA out of it. I had a drum set when I was a little kid, and that's the instrument that I started out playing. We were making up songs, and we were, little kids, 13.
Who's the most impressive drummer that you're aware of?
Well, my favorite drummer is dead.
What was that?
It's Keith Moon.
Keith Moon, okay.
But now, for some drummers, a drummer I do like a lot that's kind of got my attention at other times is the guy from Government Mule. I think his name's Matt Apps.
See,
he's a really, really good drummer.
It's like everybody else I talk to talks about Neil Peart, from
well,
Rush.
Definitely for me, it's Keith Moon.
Yeah, I know that. Did you hear about of course, you heard the story when he was the Who was here. And, and he put that car into the swimming pool. Yeah. And they were banned from Holiday Inns across the world for that.
Yeah. I like John Bonham.
Oh, yeah.
For a drummer. Those would probably be my two favorite.
He died when I was in high school. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess his son's quite extraordinary drummer. Yeah, drummer too. Yeah, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jason Bonham.
Yeah, he had his own band for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in the 80s. Who does he play for? Foreigner or somebody right now?
Oh, really?
I believe he's going to be playing in that Led Zeppelin.
Oh, that's
reunion.
That's kind
if he didn't do it already.
What do you feel like those kind of reunion things? Are you for it?
Well, I'm all for it if at least the lead singer is there.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these groups that go out and you got nobody in the band that was ever in the original band to begin with, that's like a tribute band.
Right.
Or if you don't even have the voice of the band, I don't really go see it.
Well, I was like, did you hear about a Journey? They have that guy touring with them now. He's from another country. They
a fill-in for the fill-in.
Yeah, right.
They outsourced him to like Thailand or something like that. Yeah, no, I try not to watch those. But if there's a show, like when I went to see Mark Farner, if there's a person, I'll go see their band. Mm-hmm. But there's a personality or something you're going to see. But I won't go see something like the Guess Who or something that maybe has one or two guys and doesn't even have their lead singer and kind of a ripoff. I don't know how they pull all that off, but I guess everybody should make some money, I guess.
Ray Manzarek was touring with the Doors 2000 or whatever, and a lot of friends of mine thought that was like a cheap thing to do.
You know what? That's the one that I did love.
You did like it?
I loved it.
Really?
When with Ian Asbury.
No, Ian Asbury's was the band.
The Cult.
The Cult.
Now, when I seen that, I seen it at a great festival a few years ago. It had Pat Travers, Vanilla Fudge, the Yardbirds, Steppenwolf, and the Doors.
That would have been a good lineup.
It was great. And Ian Asbury was Jim Morrison, the guy from the Doors, and he did a great job. Now, he didn't come out as himself and sing the songs. He does like an imitation of Morrison.
Okay.
I thought it was great. I guess he's back with the Cult. He's not touring with, they did a couple tours with the 21st Century Doors, but that was the one that I thought that really outstanding. I loved that concert. And I was thinking, as I was watching it, I was looking at him, filling in for Jim, and I was thinking, old Jim probably wouldn't be looking that good by now. The guy from the Cult's still halfway young. I mean, but that was the one. That's funny that you mentioned that I did like.
It's like a lot of the bands, I think, is they try to resurrect them, and I'm kind of put out by what Journey did. I mean, going out and get this, it's like Jesus, we're losing all our jobs now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but I really like the Doors. I got into it when I was older, though. I met Ray Manzarek one time, but it was at a
great keyboardist.
Yeah, he was at the Heidelberg down in Ann Arbor. He was doing a show with these beat poets, Michael McClure and John Sinclair, and he was doing the keyboard for him. And I got his autograph, stuff like that. It was like he was
outstanding. I tell you who was really great at that concert though, was Robbie Krieger.
Oh yeah,
he's guitar playing's a lot different than what you think it is live, because who really seen him back in the day? When did Morrison die? 70. Seen him out at a club in California somewhere.
Right.
Really great improvisational, ripping guitar player.
Okay.
Really good. If you ever seen the movie of the Doors,
yeah.
The way they are live is more kind of like that. Improvisational, really wild.
It's like I know that Morrison, according to that movie, he used to sing with his back to the audience at first when he first started on stage. Yeah. And Robbie Krieger and Ray Manzarek both had a hand in that production of that movie.
Did they?
Yeah, the keyboard player, the Kyle MacLachlan played. That he played Ray Manzarek. That was Ray Manzarek's actual keyboard.
Wow.
In that movie, that was the Oliver Stone movie. I think Oliver Stone does a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite directors, Oliver Stone.
So it's like
U-Turn.
No, that one I didn't
see that movie. That's really good.
So I see a lot of his bigger hits, but that one, when did that come out?
Late 90s.
So you're kind of a movie buff then, I guess, huh?
Well, not too much, but I like Oliver Stone's movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you like to play for maybe a soundtrack someplace?
That's funny because I was just telling the guys in my band, we were doing some real wild stuff on our new album, saying I'd like to do a soundtrack for a movie or something like that. I think we would be good at that.
See, if somebody was a local, like a local production unit, and they still wanted to get a band together to do that, would you be like?
Oh, I'd love to.
So, got your contact information, guys.
I produce all my own music too.
Yeah.
I can come up with stuff really fast.
So that's good.
Especially to something like that. I mean, it's it's not like writing hits.
Right. It's just you're trying to
creating mood music and stuff like that for a movie. And
there's a lot of guys that make a good career writing music for TV series and movies.
You're right.
So it's like, no, have you ever gone into like regular classical music, like violin, or did you learn all that stuff? Or
like I said, the first instrument that I ever played was drums. When I was real little. I took maybe a half dozen lessons at drums. That was it. Then as I got older, I was always the singer in the band, but I did also play guitar. And then, taught myself mainly guitar, but then I probably took about a half dozen lessons at guitar also, to clarify things. And from when I learned how to play guitar, I kind of taught myself how to play piano, and I did sort of the same thing. I took about a half dozen lessons.
Now they say it's like
years ago.
If you learn how to play one instrument, they say it's a lot easier.
Guitar was very similar to piano. I thought same concept.
Right. So I got friends that play 2 or 3 instruments too, and that's what they told me. It's like once you get
one down and understand it real well, especially guitar.
Right.
Seems like it's the hardest instrument to really get good at. Once you understand that, I think you can play bass or keyboards.
Now do you
same type concept.
Now you got a piano at home, or do you?
Yeah, I have a keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have a piano. electric keyboard.
People always try to give me pianos because they're moving. I was like, I don't know anyone
Well,
who
they
wants
take up
one.
a lot of space.
Yeah, they do. But anyway, so I'm glad. Now the next show you said is
It's August 16th at Jammin's Lounge
okay,
for the Battle of the Sands, for the Flint Battle of the Bands.
okay,
And I believe right now, I believe we're going on 7th out of 10.
okay,
And the show, I think, starts at 3 in the afternoon.
okay, and then they look for you or your music at your MySpace place, right?
Yes, that's budslaughter.com. Yeah.
And anyway, it was good to have you on
Okay,
here.
we'll take it out. This is an old classic off our first album. This is Slave to Sleaze.
Okay, nice having you here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.